feeling wrong about it, feeling like you have to talk people into things, you're in the right place. I'm Jeff Goldberg. I'm a sales coach and trainer. And through the next 30 or so minutes, I'm going to take you through some ideas and thoughts and tips and tools and techniques on how you can enroll more clients without being pushy. The key is turning great conversations into paying clients without using wacky scripts that make you feel awkward, pressuring people, trying to talk people into things, convince them or persuade them of anything that they don't want to do. You don't have to do any of that. So I'm going to dive right in here and let me kind of guess what might be happening to you sometimes. If you're a coach, if you're a creative, if you're a consultant, if you're a solopreneur or a small business owner, you probably are having great calls with people, great meetings, great calls. People like talking to you. Everything seems to be going well. The conversation flows. You're asking questions. They're answering them. They're asking you questions. You're answering them. And you feel like you really have a great connection with them. And then they ghost you. They're gone. Well, most people think they have a lead problem, but what you almost definitely have is not a lead problem, although you may have a lead problem too. What you have is a conversation problem. See if any of this sounds familiar. You're having a great conversation with somebody. You ask them to do business. You invite them to do business with you, and they tell you they're going to think about it, or they have to check their schedule, or they have to talk to their spouse or their partner or the committee, or can you send me some literature? Can you send me some information? Can you send me something? These responses feel like objections, and in some cases in sales they are, but for coaches and consultants, these are typically symptoms of a deeper issue. These are signals that you were doing a great job, but something was missing along the way that did not get them to see that you are the person who can help them solve their problem, fix their pain, fill that need, give them what they actually want in order to give them a better life, a better business, better job, whatever it is. So who is this training for today, and who am I? Well, my name is Jeff Goldberg. I'm a sales coach and trainer. I've worked with companies that you're familiar with. For the last 50 years, I've been in sales. And for the last 20, I've owned Jeff Goldberg and Associates. And you wouldn't believe how much I had to pay a marketing guy to come up with that name. And I'm not kidding. Up until COVID, I exclusively worked with companies like Cisco and Siemens and Citibank all over the world, training their salespeople and training their managers how to manage more effectively. And when COVID hit, obviously things had to change quickly because people weren't doing in-person training, and I switched to coaching. But I found that I was enjoying coaching so much, especially working with coaches and consultants and what I call accidental sellers. Accidental sellers are anyone who didn't go into business to be a salesperson like I did. I like selling, but let's say I don't know, a relationship coach. A relationship coach did not go into business to sell. A relationship coach, if you happen to be one, or a business coach or a weight loss coach or anything else like that, you went into business to serve people. A relationship coach wants to help people have better relationships, stronger relationships, deeper relationships. A weight loss coach wants to help people lose weight, look better, feel better, live longer, be more attractive. So this training is for that type of person who typically does not like salespeople, does not like selling, thinks you have to be pushy and aggressive and salesy, thinks you have to talk people into things, persuade them and convince them, and hates asking for money. Well, that's exactly who this is for. This is for people, especially coaches, who are good at helping others, who hate feeling salesy or being pushy, who want more clients without compromising their values, and who want to feel more feel more confident in their enrollment conversations. So here's the thing. If you're watching right now or listening right now, and you already close 80% of the people who come to you, you can leave. This is not going to be of any value to you whatsoever. But if you need some help with bringing on new clients, stick around for a few minutes. Why did I create this? Because I love working with coaches and consultants and creatives and solopreneurs. And I like working with accidental salespeople because they're great at what they do. They just can't get enough clients. When they do have clients, they produce magnificent results, astounding results. They get great testimonials. They're just not enrolling enough people. And if you're not serving enough people, you can't help enough people, and you can't make enough money. So the big truth that nobody wants to talk about is most coaches think if I just had more leads, or if I just had better leads, if I had more people to talk to, I'd get more clients. And to a certain extent, that is true, because there's an argument to be made that sales is a numbers game. Enrollment is a numbers game. The more people you speak with, the greater the chance of somebody wanting to do business with you. But the real problem is probably not that you need more leads. It may be that you need better leads, but you probably don't need more. What you need to have is better conversations with the leads that you've got. The people that are willing to take a meeting with you, have a conversation with you, you need to guide them through a conversational process that leads them to choosing to do business with you. It's that simple. When you fix the conversation as opposed to the lead flow, everything changes and more people start saying yes. So in sales, in professional sales, we call the initial conversation with somebody not an appointment making conversation, but when you're actually having a conversation with somebody, we call that the discovery call. And your job on there is to find out as much information as you can about the person and what they need and what they're doing now and what their pain is and all the things that'll help you figure out, can I help this person? But the reason so many discovery calls don't convert into clients is because, number one, there's no structure. The conversation goes back and forth, it goes up and down, it meanders like a stream through a forest, and there's no beginning, there's no middle, there's no end. It just kind of flows on forever, and eventually it just ends, but for no purpose. The second reason discovery calls don't convert is because most accidental sellers, and I'm talking to you coaches and consultants mostly, you avoid making the invitation because you don't want to seem pushy. You don't want to be thought of as salesy. The last thing you want is somebody telling their friends, oh, I met with that guy, Jeff Goldberg. He's a pushy salesman. That you don't want to hear that. By the way, neither do I. As a professional salesperson, I don't want to hear it either. But your discovery call is not going to convert if you're afraid of asking questions. It's also, you're probably over helping. You're giving away way too much advice, way too much information in the discovery call. And so your prospect feels satisfied and doesn't need you anymore. Or maybe there's no clear invitation to do business with you. You may hint around that I could help you. You may hint around that working with me would be a great idea, but you never actually ask people to enroll. You never ask them for their business because we don't want to hear no. I want you to learn this, if nothing else today. No is a great word. It's not as good as yes, but it's very, very close. No and yes are my two favorite words in sales. What I hate is everything else. I've got to think it over. I've got to talk to my partner, send me some information. So all that stuff sucks. And that's a technical sales training term. It sucks. It keeps you from doing the job you were born to do. It keeps you from helping enough people, and it keeps you from making enough money. Another reason discovery calls don't convert is there's no easy transition from one step to another. There's no easy transition going from information gathering into presenting into asking for the business, because you've never been told how to have the enrollment conversation. Most coaches don't lose clients. They just fail to invite them in the first place. They never actually say, in whatever words you're going to say it, will you do business with me? And the moment everything falls apart is because you've maybe had a great first meeting with somebody. You've established rapport with them. They start to like you. They start to trust you. You're asking questions. They seem interested. They're answering your questions. You're interested in working with them. You feel like you really connected with them on a very deep level. You've asked them very insightful, thoughtful questions, and the person clearly needs what you have. They are desperate for what you've got to offer. And the call is ending, and you say something like, well, okay, let me know what you think. And then you wait. And then you wait some more. And then you wait some more. And you keep checking your voicemail to see if anybody left you a message. And you keep checking your email to see if maybe somebody sent you an email saying, yes, I'm ready to be your coachee. I'm ready to be your client. When you leave the decision entirely in the prospect's hands without any guidance, most people will default to doing nothing because that's easiest. It's easy to do nothing. It's not that they don't want your help. It's not that they don't need your help, but taking action is harder than doing nothing. So when we're having conversations with this type of person, we have to help guide them through a process that allows them to come to a decision for themselves that's right for them, which is hopefully to do business with you. So here's what changes everything: confidence. The Sales Confidence Lab is all about confidence, and that's the mindset shift that you have to have if you're going to enroll more people. But confidence is not about personality. You know, sometimes you're at a party or at a networking event or a group meeting or something like that. Somebody walks in and they just reek of confidence. Well, they weren't born that way. I promise you that. Nobody pops out of the womb confident. It's learned. It's the result of preparing and studying and learning and practicing, because when you know what to say, you feel better about asking people for their business. And when you feel better about asking for their business, people feel better about saying yes to you. So you need to follow a proven structure, and it doesn't have to be mine. I happen to teach one particular methodology, but there's a gazillion guys and gals like me who teach all kinds of methodologies which can help you do what you want. But the first thing is you've got to develop confidence. So this is the enrollment method that I teach. The confident enrollment method or framework is a simple structure that's easily repeatable, easy to learn, and easy to implement. Now, I'm a professional salesperson, and I've studied sales for 50 years, and I still read many, if not most of the books that come out on the subject of selling. I'm constantly studying. I'm constantly learning, but often I'm reading a book or listening to somebody talk about it, and it sounds to me like they have great ideas, but it's going to be very hard to implement it. Something that sounds great on paper or sounds great in a book or sounds great on an audiobook or sounds great in a seminar, but you sit there thinking, well, it's great, but there's no way I could do this. A perfect example is a book called The Challenger Sale. I love that book. It's a really good one. I think it was written about maybe 8 years ago. Terrific methodology, very sound thinking. However, incredibly difficult to implement unless you're a major organization. If you're an enterprise organization with, hundreds of salespeople, and you have a lot of money to do this, it's a great methodology. What I'm teaching you is something anybody can do. It's not expensive to implement. It's easy to do. It's easy to repeat, and it's easy to make it your own. There's a structure to confident enrollment. It's not about scripts that make you sound like a robot. It's definitely not that. It's a way to make you have natural conversations that end up with the other person choosing to do business with you. So here's the 7-step framework. The first one is we always want to establish rapport with the person first, because the fact is, after 50 years of selling, some things have changed, but one thing hasn't. And that's the fact that people still do business with people who they like and trust. And of the two, the trust is more important. So you always want to start out a meeting by letting them get to know you and you getting to know them. It's hard to bring on new clients. It's hard to get people to choose to do business with you if they don't trust you. So the initial part of the meeting is invested in getting to know people. And the easiest way to do that is to ask them about their favorite subject themselves. Everybody has the same favorite subject. So when I go into a meeting, and typically when I'm selling, for example, sales training, I'm talking to a president, a CEO, or a global god or goddess of sales at a large organization. The question I ask them is, let's say I'm talking to somebody named Susan. Hey, Susan, I'm just curious. How'd you get to be the VP of sales here at Susan Co? And then I do the most difficult thing for salespeople to do. I shut up and I let Susan talk. And Susan will start talking to me about her background and her resume and where she's worked and what brought her up to this moment, how she became the VP of sales at Susan Co. And all I'm doing is listening. But on an unconscious basis, Susan starts thinking well of me because I'm not acting like the typical salesperson. I'm interested in her instead of pitching her. Once I've done that, I have to gain the right to do what I really want to do, which is ask questions. Because I promise you this, my friends. Again, if you walk away with nothing else today, learn this. Sales is about asking questions. It's not about your brilliant presentation skills. It's not about your strong closing skills. It's about asking the right questions and listening to the answers actively. So you have to gain the right to ask questions. Now, here's the thing. When somebody agrees to meet with you or me to have a sales conversation, they pretty much know that I'm going to be asking some questions, and so are you. But I want to make sure I have the right. And we do that by getting people to ask us a question. And the question we get them to ask us is, what is it about your company? And we do that by saying to them, would it help if I tell you a little bit about my company? Because they're going to say yes every time, because that's the purpose of the meeting. And then you're going to deliver your brief commercial. You're not going to tell them everything about everything. You're just going to give them a little bit of information. So you're answering their unasked question, what is it about your company? And when you answer their unasked question, if you answer their question, they should be willing to answer your questions. So we gain the right to ask all the questions we want by asking that question and delivering our brief commercial. And then we go into the most important part of the sales process, which is asking questions. This is absolutely positively where your sale gets made or lost. So you want to become really good at asking questions. And here's the most important concept that you can consider about asking questions. The questions you need to ask are the questions that uncover for you what makes sense to your prospect about what you have to sell them. Now, I've used that line many times, and I know it's a mouthful, but here's what I mean by it. You have to find out what makes sense to your prospect, because whatever they're doing now is what makes sense to them regarding what you have to sell them. So if I'm selling sales training to Sue, the VP of sales, I have to find out what makes sense to Sue about training her salespeople, because my goal is to find out how she's doing it now so I can show her a better way. And here's why. We do everything we do because it makes sense to do those things. Before I got on this call, because it's now 6:15 Eastern time, sorry, I had to check and see if he was there. He is. My dog is laying behind me, so I've got to spell this. Before I got on this call, I WALKED'd the DOG. Now, I had to spell that because if I said it right now, he'd be jumping up and want to do it again, which I don't want to do. But it made sense to me to do that because I knew I was going to be on with you guys for half an hour or so, maybe a little bit longer. And I knew it was his time to do his business. So it made sense to me to take him OUT so he could do that. After I get off this call, I'm going to make dinner. Why? It'll be about 6:30 or 6:45, and I'm starting to get hungry for dinner. It makes sense to eat when you're hungry. In fact, it makes sense. We do everything that we do because it makes sense to do those things, including buy stuff. So when I'm selling to Sue, the VP of sales, I need to find out what makes sense to her about what I have to sell her, sales training. And then when I know that, I'm in a position to give her a presentation based on what she's told me about what she's doing now and how I can help her do it better. Before I do that, though, I'm going to verify all the answers I heard by feeding them back to her to make sure that we're on the same page. And then I'm going to present using 4 elements: enthusiasm, features and benefits, and a verbal proof story, which is going to help me explain to Sue how I can best help her. And I'm going to help her get past the automatic negative thinking people have when they're making a buying decision. Because the way brain science works is when people are making the buying decision, they think about the negative stuff first. What if it goes wrong? What if I hire Jeff and my sales don't increase? So we're going to present our offering based on those 4 elements. And then if we need to, we're going to negotiate. And then we're going to close naturally by simply asking people to do business with us. And I teach them one very simple and straightforward close called the In My Professional Opinion close. And I'm not kidding. It's as simple as this. I've made my presentation, I've given my pricing, and I'm going to say, hey, Sue, that's the plan that makes sense to me and what I believe we should do to move forward. What do you think? That's the whole close. You don't need to be a magician to close business. You don't need to be a superstar salesperson to close business. You just need to know how to take people through those 7 steps and ask for their business naturally. You don't need magic. You don't need magic words. You don't even need charisma. You just need a structure that you can follow time after time after time to make it easy for you. So what happens when you have a structure? First of all, you get more yeses because people understand what you're doing. People are more willing to make a quicker decision because you've guided them clearly from one step to another through that process. Number 2, you're going to have better conversations when you have structure because you know where you're trying to lead the prospect. So you're going to ask the right questions to lead them where you want them to be. You're going to feel less awkwardness because the reason you're not confident, the reason you feel awkward is you've never been told what to say, in what order, how to do it, and how to feel good about it. Of course, you're going to have more income because you're going to serve more people and close more business, and you'll have more confidence for sure. Because when you know what to say, what to do at the right time, you will feel confident guiding people to make the decision that's right for them, which again is hopefully to do business with you. This is Nikki, who's a friend of mine now. Nikki took the very first sales confidence lab, and Nikki wrote to me after the first one. I'm sorry, not the first session, but the first lab. And by the way, Nikki's an amazing coach. She's incredible at what she does. She's an NLP practitioner. She helps people get clear on things. She helps them clear their mind of unuseful thoughts. She helps them sleep better. She's just amazing at what she does. And she's also sweet and wonderful and fun and all that great stuff. Nikki helps people produce miraculous results in a very short period of time quite often. And Nikki was taking a lot of meetings with people, but the meetings weren't converting to clients. Now, there were a couple of reasons for that, but the most important one was Nikki didn't know how to sell. She was doing her best, and she's smart, she's fun, and obviously she's beautiful, but that wasn't enough. You've got to be able to lead people through a process that helps them choose to do business with you. And after she learned the confident enrollment method, her coaching business improved. She was getting more clients, and some of them were asking her for longer term engagements, which was unusual for her. Another person who'd been in the first lab is a gentleman named Hai, who owns a custom software company. Brilliant guy, really smart, funny, good guy, great company, really helps people improve their businesses, retain employees, be more efficient, more effective. There's all kinds of great things he does, and a super smart guy. Now, his small company does amazing, terrific work, but Hai was afraid of being pushy. He didn't want to be thought of as pushy, and he's not a pushy guy. He's absolutely not. After just 4 weeks in the Sales Confidence Lab, and by the way, it's a 12-week program. After 4 weeks, he wrote to me and said, I'm already closing 25% more people than I was just 4 weeks ago. Now, here's the thing. I did not expect anybody, even after the full lab, which is 12 weeks, to get a 25% increase in sales. Hai got it after 4 weeks. His confidence soared, and his sales increased, and his business is doing even better than it was before. So here is where you decide what you're going to do. You can keep hoping people say yes to you. You can keep hoping doing the same old thing over and over and expecting a different result, which we all know that that's not going to happen. And you can continue to have great conversations that lead everywhere except you getting more clients. Less people for you to serve, less money in your pocket. If you do nothing, nothing changes. Or you can confidently guide people to a decision. You can learn the exact structure that I just talked about in great detail that turns great conversations into enrolled clients. You'll feel confident about asking them to do business with you. You'll feel better about serving clients at a higher level, and I can absolutely help you do that. The Sales Confidence Lab is a 12-week live program done on Zoom where accidental sellers, coaches, consultants, creatives, solopreneurs, small business people, you learn, you practice, and you master the confident enrollment method in real time. This is not a course that you watch by yourself, or worse, not a course that you buy and then never watch. How many of you have done that? I don't know how many people are listening or watching, and I can't see your hands if you're raising them, but I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on courses that are recorded that I never listened to. Never. This is not that kind of course. This is a live course that you're not going to hope to implement someday. I'm going to help you do it. It's a live interactive lab where you not just learn, you practice real life scenarios, work with an accountability partner that you get assigned in the very first session. You get personalized feedback, and you build the muscle memory, just like karate people do. My son took karate when he was younger, and he was building muscle memory because every week he went, he would practice the same exercises, the same katas to get muscle memory. That's what we do in the lab too. By the end of the lab, you will be more confident and you will enroll more people, and it will become second nature to you, and you'll be happy about it. You're not going to feel bad anymore about being in sales. I hate to use the term, but you will enroll more people and you'll feel great about it. What do you get in the program? For 12 weeks, we meet 2 hours a week in live sessions on Zoom. We learn, we practice, we role play, and we refine your enrollment conversations. Now, when I say practice, we actually role play in the lab. Now, if you're sitting there and thinking, oh, I would never want to role play with other people, you can leave right now. This is not for you, because it doesn't matter how great a trainer I am, and I'm terrific at what I do. If we don't rehearse it, if we don't practice it, then what you're going to do is you're going to be rehearsing on the dance floor. In other words, in front of a live audience, in front of people that might do business with you. That's the worst time to rehearse. We create a safe space in the Sales Confidence Lab for everybody to rehearse, practice with each other without judgment. I want to tell you this. When I work with professional salespeople and we role play, they like to make fun of each other and tease each other and kind of beat each other up mentally. None of that happens in the lab. In fact, we don't even give feedback unless it's asked for in the lab. It's just a place where you can learn and then practice so that when you are with real prospects, you can actually have a great shot of helping them choose to do business with you. You get a proven process. I didn't just write this out a couple of days ago and think, you know what, I can sell this to people because this might work. What I'm teaching you is what I've been doing for 50 years, what I've taught to tens of thousands of professional salespeople all over the world, and what I've changed into an easier to understand and easier to implement method for the accidental seller. You'll get The same tips, tools, and strategies that tens of thousands of professional salespeople heard, but in a way that you, a coach, consultant, creative, or solopreneur, can actually listen to and understand where it's going to feel right for you. You'll also get personalized feedback, not only from your coaching partners, your accountability partners, but also from me. In fact, one of the 12 sessions, at session 10, we don't even meet that week. Everybody gets a one-on-one session directly with me for role playing and coaching and feedback. You also get a supportive community. We don't just meet once a week. We also have an online community where you can go where all the sessions are recorded. So after each session, I put the recording in the community in case you couldn't make it, or in case you want to review parts of it or the whole thing. And you get that for, I'd like to say for life, but you get it for my life. I'm not going to keep paying to have that hosted online after I die, but you get it for my life, and I'm planning on living for a while, so you're in a good place. But you get the community where all the recordings are. You get to talk to each other, including previous members of the Sales Confidence Lab, and of course, I'm there too. And the main thing is you get real practice. We're going to practice this so that when you're in front of a live prospect, you're not fumbling and bumbling. You're going to have discovery calls that actually work, and you're going to go out into the world and try this stuff, report back, and I'm going to coach you as well as the other people. And you won't just learn this, you'll live it. You'll practice it. You'll use it on real calls with real prospects, and you will enroll more people. So is this program right for you? I don't know. Only you do. The Sales Confidence Lab was designed specifically for coaches, consultants, creatives, solopreneurs, and small business owners, accidental sellers who don't really want to sell, who don't really want to be thought of as a salesperson. But if that's you, this is a perfect program for you. If you're regularly meeting with people and it's just not turning into business. B, you want more clients. You have the room to bring on more clients. You have capacity. C, you want structure. And most importantly, you want confidence. You want to know what to say, how to say it, and when to say it so that you feel confident and your prospect feels comfortable saying yes. And A, B, C, D. You want to feel good about enrolling people. You don't want to feel icky. You don't want to feel salesy. You want to feel good. You don't want to be pushy. You just need to know a better approach. So I'm offering a special fast action bonus because this lab starts Thursday. The next lab is Thursday, March 5th, which is this Thursday, 3 days from today. If you enroll today and you use code webinar100, you get $100 off. So this is recording coaches and consultants and accidental sellers who take fast action. The total investment is $14.95 for 3 months. And if you take a look at my private coaching pricing, which is $500 an hour, you're getting 3 months with me and a bunch of other people for $14.95. And again, if you do it today, you get that fast action bonus. So it's $13.95. If you'd prefer, you can do it in 3 payments. And I am so confident that this is going to work for you. I am 100% confident that as long as you join the program and participate fully for 30 days, if at any point you don't feel more confident, you don't think it's working, you think I'm full of crap, whatever the reason is, all you have to do is email me, jeff@salesconfidencelab.com, and say, Jeff, I want my money back. I'll send it back to you immediately. No questions asked. No hassle. I don't want anybody in the program who's not getting something out of it, but you'll have a full month to decide. It's a 3-month program. So you'll be 1/3 of the way through before you even have to figure out whether you want your money back or not. So there is limited availability. There's only 28 total seats available. I think we still have like 20 left available for Thursday. So it's going to be a very small class, which is actually a very good time to get in because that means everybody's going to get a lot of personalized attention and feedback. So it's time to decide. If you're interested, you can use the QR code on your screen right now, or you can go to salesconfidencelab.com. Both take you to the same place. Gives you a lot more information, gives you the dates of the meetings. Again, we're starting this Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. And you'll get immediate access to the program. If you register, it'll give you the 2 options for registration. When you get to the checkout page, be sure to use that coupon code webinar100 for $100 off. You'll get immediate access to the community, and you'll be ready for our first live session, which starts this Thursday, March 5th. So here's a final thought. I do love AI. We have a session on AI and using CRM. We've also got a session on pipeline management. We got lots of great stuff in the lab. I love AI, so I created myself and my dog as superheroes. But here's the thing. You don't need to be a superhero to be successful in sales. And again, you don't need more leads. You need better conversations. So the coaches who thrive aren't necessarily the ones with the biggest audiences or the most followers. They're not superheroes. I'm not a superhero either, by the way. The best coaches, the ones who enroll more people, are the ones who can confidently guide someone from curiosity to commitment. You already have everything you need to grow your business. You know how to be a coach. You know you're a great coach at whatever your particular service is, or a consultant, or whatever it is that you do. You're already good at that. You've got the skills. You got the heart. You just need more clients who not only need you, but are ready to enroll with you. And all that's missing is the structure that lets you invite them in. So let's fix that together. If you've got questions and that you want to reach out to me before you enroll, feel free. You can get me at jeff@salesconfidencelab.com. Here's a couple of quick questions, by the way, that often come up, which I'll answer, and then we're going to end. First of all, I'm often asked, well, Jeff, it's 12 weeks. What if I can't make it to one of the sessions, or 2 of the sessions, or even 3 of the sessions? Not a problem. I record every session, and by that evening, the session is recorded in the community. You can go to it that night or anytime after that, so you don't have to make it to all of them. Will this work for me, Jeff? I'm an X coach. I'm a Y coach. I'm a this coach. I'm a that coach. It doesn't matter what kind of coach you are. It doesn't matter what kind of consultant you are. If you have to speak to people and have them choose to do business with you, makes no difference what it is that you are doing. I'm often asked how much time is needed for this commitment. So the lab is 2 hours a week for 12 weeks, except again, week 10, you'll only be with me for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then there's no 2-hour meeting that week. But you also need to set aside about 10 minutes a week to work with your accountability partner. So 2 hours and 10 minutes a week for 12 weeks, that's 24 hours plus maybe another hour on top of that. And the other question I get all the time is, what if I'm brand new to sales? What if I'm brand new to enrollment calls? Perfect timing. You don't have any bad habits yet, so I'm going to get you in the right place with the right methodology so that you can successfully enroll more clients. So my Calendly is there, but obviously you can't click on it. You can see it, but you can email me at jeff@salesconfidencelab.com. If you want to talk to me, ask me any questions, we can set something up. And if you want to enroll, again, here's the QR code. You can go to salesconfidencelab.com. Remember that coupon code webinar100, which actually, I'll give you a hint. You don't have to do it today. If you do it tomorrow or Wednesday, you'll still get that discount because I'm not taking it away from anybody. So I hope to see you in the lab. We do have a few more seats. Now would be the time to enroll. Thank you for listening. Have a great night, everybody. Go get them.